Hey there, and welcome to the first episode to Talk Talk, the podcast where we dive into the world of knowledge, critical thinking, and everything in between. I'm your host, Tarek, and today we're answering a very important question. Why is theory of knowledge so essential in the IB program? Why do we spend so much time exploring how we know things, when in other subjects the focus is mostly on the facts? Well, today we're going to explore why TOK is at the heart of the IB diploma, and how it connects to your life in ways you might not have considered. And to start, I want you to imagine this. Imagine this. You're standing in front of the Mona Lisa at the Louvre, surrounded by a sea of tourists. One person next to you mutters, "I don't get it. Why is this painting so famous?" Another enthusiastically exclaims, "It's incredible. The smile, the shading, the genius of Da Vinci." You're stuck somewhere in between, wondering, why do people see this painting so differently? Is it personal taste, cultural influence, or is there something deeper going on? This is exactly what Talk is all about. Questioning how we know what we know and why we believe what we believe. Why is one person captivated by the Mona Lisa, while another can't see the appeal? Is it their personal experiences, their cultural background, or something innate in the artwork itself? TOK challenges us to ask these types of questions. It's not just about learning facts in isolation. It's about understanding the process of knowledge. It's about the knowledge and the knower. How does the way we know something influence our understanding of the world around us? This is where TOK becomes truly powerful. But TOK isn't just about questioning knowledge in the abstract. It's deeply connected to the real world. Take something as simple as reading the news. Whether it's a story about climate change, a political debate, or a scientific breakthrough, how do you know the information is reliable? How do you assess the credibility of the sources? And why do certain topics seem to attract more media attention than others? So, standing in front of the Mona Lisa, you might ask, how do we know what art is? What makes one interpretation valid while another seems less so? And here's the kicker. How do we even decide if a piece of art is good or bad? Is it universal that Da Vinci is a genius, or is that a belief shaped by culture and history over time? These kinds of questions push us to look at knowledge not as something static, but as something shaped by context, perspective, and experience. These questions aren't just philosophical, they're practical. In TOK, we teach students to be critical consumers of information. Think about it. The average person today is exposed to a constant stream of information, from social media feeds to news broadcasts. In a world where misinformation spreads quickly, Talk teaches you how to evaluate knowledge claims, think critically about sources, and navigate through the noise. That's one of the key things about TOK. It asks you to reflect on the process of knowledge. We're not just asked to accept things as they are. We're asked to understand how we arrive at our beliefs, how we justify them, and what influences our thinking along the way. In TOK, we look at the 5 areas of knowledge: natural sciences, human sciences, arts, history, and mathematics. Each area approaches knowledge in its own unique way. For example, in the natural sciences, we rely heavily on observation and experimentation. In the arts, it's about interpretation, emotion, and creativity. History looks at the past through a lens shaped by time, evidence, and perspective. And in mathematics, we focus on logic, reasoning, and abstract concepts. So, when we analyze the Mona Lisa, we can approach it from an artistic perspective, examining the painting's technique, symbolism, and cultural significance. Or we can look at it from a historical perspective, understanding it within the context of Renaissance Italy. TOK encourages us to explore how different areas of knowledge shape our understanding of a single object or event. But TOK isn't just about philosophical ideas. It's incredibly relevant to the real world. Think about how you consume information today. From the news to social media, How do you know what's true? How do you assess the credibility of what you hear and read? In Talk, we teach you to be critical consumers of information. For instance, consider the issue of climate change. If you're reading an article about it, how do you know the information is reliable? Is the science behind it solid, or are there biases at play? TOK encourages us to evaluate knowledge claims critically. It asks, who is presenting the information? What are their values? What evidence do they provide, and how strong is that evidence? In a world where misinformation spreads quickly, TOK gives you the tools to ask these important questions. It teaches you to question the process by which we form beliefs and navigate complex issues like climate change, politics, or even scientific discoveries. One of the things I love most about TOK is how it helps you reflect on yourself, the knower. It teaches you to recognize how your biases, emotions, and cultural context shape your understanding of knowledge. Let's say you're reading about the ethical implications of artificial intelligence. Your perspective might be shaped by your upbringing. If you grew up in a technology-driven environment, you might approach the issue from a different angle than someone from a rural area with little exposure to tech. Talk helps you recognize that your understanding is not necessarily the only valid perspective. It's shaped by who you are and where you come from. So why does all of this matter? Why should you care about TOK? Because in today's world, it's no longer enough to just know facts. We need to understand how those facts are formed, how they're communicated, and how they impact the world around us. Talk gives you the tools to think more deeply, ask bigger questions, and become a more thoughtful, reflective thinker. So, next time you encounter a news story, a social media post, or even a conversation, ask yourself, how do I know this? What evidence is being presented? What assumptions might be at play? Remember, in a world where knowledge is constantly evolving and being reshaped, those are the questions that really matter. That's it for today's episode of Talk Talk. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, don't just accept things as they are. Question them, explore them, and keep being curious. Until next time.